What if you woke up one day with absolutely no memory? You don't know your name, you don't know your family, and you don't even know who you are. All you know is that you are trapped, and the only way to find the truth is to survive. Today, in this video, I am going to explain the complete story of a journey that starts inside a deadly maze and leads to a truth so dark that you will question whether survival was even worth it. So without wasting any time, let's go back to where it all began. Black, deep darkness. Emerging from that darkness, a lift was moving toward the upper floor. A boy lying unconscious in that lift suddenly woke up. Finding himself in an unknown place, his heartbeat had quickened. He looked around and saw a pile of items scattered nearby. Just then, the lift picked up full speed. Out of fear, the boy started screaming and shouting for help. Just then, the lift stopped with a jolt. The very next moment, a door opened from above, and the bright light of the sun made the boy's eyes light up. The lift had come up from underground to the surface. Above, a crowd of young boys stood surrounding the lift from all sides. Just then, one of the boys from the crowd pulled the boy inside the lift out and threw him onto the ground. All the boys were laughing at him. Frightened by them, the boy began running away from there with all his speed. But after going just a short distance, the boy stumbled and fell to the ground. When he got up and looked around in all directions, there was no limit to his astonishment. He had arrived at a place that was surrounded on all sides by tall and thick walls, and right in the middle, where the boy stood, was a forest filled with trees and a grassy field. Before he could understand anything, the other boys caught him and locked him in a cage. A short while later, a boy came to him. He told him his name was Albie. Albie asked the new boy for his name too. At this, the boy fell into deep thought. Surprisingly, no matter how hard he tried, he could not remember his own name, nor his identity. Albie said to him, "Don't be scared. This happens to everyone who comes here. The good news is, whether you remember anything or not, your name will come back to you very soon." Saying this, Albie brought the boy out of the cage. Coming outside, the boy saw that there was a small village in that place, where all the boys present were roughly his own age, and they were all busy with their own work. Seeing them, the new boy asked Albie, "Who are you people, and what place is this?" At this, Albie explained to him, "We call this place the Glade. This is our home, and I am the leader of the people who live here. Here we do all the work ourselves, from farming to building houses. From the lift you came in, supplies of necessary items are sent to us every month, and along with that, a new boy is also sent. Just like you were sent this month, all of us too were brought here one by one through that same lift." Hearing this, the boy fell into thought. He asked, "Who are the people sending us here? What is their purpose in keeping us here?" At this, Albie said, "I don't know the answers to these questions either." In the middle of all this conversation, a boy named Newt came to them. Newt was the vice leader there, who looked after the place in Albie's absence. After introducing him to Newt, Albie took the boy to the tower, from where the entire glade could be seen. There, the boy's attention went to a pathway that passed through the middle of the large wall. He asked, "What is beyond that wall?" At this, Albie, brushing aside the boy's question, said, "If you want to live here, you will have to remember one important rule. You will never even think of going beyond that wall." Hearing this rule, the boy stayed quiet at that moment, but he suspected that Albie was hiding something from him. He thought there must surely be a way out through there, and thinking this, he started walking toward that path. Just then, a boy named Chuck immediately stopped him. Chuck reminded him of the rule again and said that going on that path was strictly forbidden for them. In the middle of all this, the new boy saw two boys running and coming out from that very pathway in the wall. Seeing them, the new boy asked, "You said no one could go on that path. Then where are these people coming from?" At this, Chuck said, "We are not allowed to go there, but these people are runners. Only they can come and go there because they have full knowledge of that maze." The moment he heard the word maze, the boy's curiosity grew even more. He started moving toward that path. He was just about to go inside when a boy pushed him and knocked him away from the path. At this, the boy became furious. All the other boys gathered there too and tried to calm him down, but the boy was not ready to listen to them. He just wanted to get out through that path. Just then, suddenly a strong gust of wind came from between those walls. Immediately after that, a massive stone door emerged from the wall, which closed that path. Seeing this, the boy was left stunned. Many questions began to rise in his mind about that place, and to find the answers, he went back to the glade with the rest of the people. In this way, the day passed. At night, a celebration was being held in the glade in honor of the new boy's arrival. But on the other side, the new boy sat alone with Newt, gazing at that massive door of the maze. The boy asked Newt, "What exactly is this maze?" At this, Newt explained to him, "This maze is a vast and dangerous labyrinth. We are surrounded on all sides by this enormous maze. We believe that the only way out of here goes through this maze." After telling him this, Newt pointed toward a group of boys sitting behind and said, "We call those boys runners. Every morning, when the maze door opens, that group of runners goes inside the maze. They memorize the paths of the maze in their minds, prepare a map of it, and search for a way out. But unfortunately, every night the paths of the maze change, which is why 3 years have passed, and even today, they have not found any way out of here." Hearing this, the boy asked, "What will I have to do to become a runner?" At this, Newt told him, "Only strong and agile people can become runners. The work of the runners is extremely dangerous. No matter what, they have to get out of the maze before the door closes. If by mistake any runner gets stuck inside the maze even for one night, he never comes back alive." Hearing this, the boy asked in surprise, "What exactly happens to them after the door closes?" At this, Newt told him, "Inside that maze live some large and dangerous creatures that we call Grievers. After the door closes at night, they begin to roam inside the maze. Until today, no one has managed to escape from them and get out of the maze." Newt's words had increased the boy's worry. Seeing this, Newt took him to the celebration to cheer him up. There, he introduced him to the rest of the Glade's groups. Among them were some builders, whose job was to build huts. Some were slicers, who did butcher work. Along with them, there were 2 medjacks, who treated the sick or injured. Nearby, some boys were wrestling. Among them was also the boy who had pushed the new boy and stopped him from going into the maze. That boy's name was Glade, and he was the leader of the builders group. He challenged the new boy to a wrestling match. The boy accepted the challenge. During the wrestling, with one move from Glade, the boy fell headfirst to the ground. The moment his head hit the ground, his name suddenly came back to him. He got up and shouted happily, "My name is Thomas." Hearing this, all the boys joined in Thomas's happiness. Just then, suddenly a loud growling sound came from the maze, hearing which Thomas shivered. At this, Glade told him, "That is the sound of the Grievers. But don't worry, Grievers never come to this side of the wall." After that, they all went to sleep. Within a few days, Thomas had mixed well with the other boys. He would also help them in their work. In this way, one day while working in the fields, Newt sent Thomas into the jungle to get fertilizer. When Thomas was searching for fertilizer in the jungle, a boy named Ben came and stood behind him. Ben was a runner. He was staring at Thomas in a furious rage. His eyes had turned deep black. Suddenly, he attacked Thomas. He kept saying one thing to Thomas again and again, that all of this was Thomas's doing. Saying this, Ben started trying to kill Thomas. He would have killed him, but the other boys arrived there in time and grabbed Ben. When they lifted Ben's t-shirt, they saw a deep black wound mark on his stomach. That mark was from a Griever's sting. Seeing it, they understood that Ben had encountered a Griever in the maze, and the Griever had stung him there. The infection from its sting was spreading rapidly through Ben's body. A Griever's sting was so dangerous that the infected person would slowly lose their mental balance, become extremely violent, and would also start affecting others. It was strange for them that a Griever had attacked Ben during the day, because Grievers only came out at night. However, they didn't put too much focus on that at the time, and they all got busy dealing with the trouble that had come in the form of Ben. Just before dusk, Ben was brought to the doorway of the maze, where all the boys of the Glade were present with their sticks and clubs. There, Minho, the leader of the runners, gave Ben some food and water water and told him to go inside the maze. Ben began begging before them not to send him into the maze. But just then, the door of the maze began to close, after which the rest of the Glade's people used their sticks to push Ben inside the maze. The moment Ben went inside, the door closed. The meaning was clear. Ben would never return now. Unfortunately, they had no cure for a Griever sting, which is why, for the safety of the others, they were forced to send the infected people inside the maze to die. This was a heartbreaking event for Thomas. Then that same night, while Thomas was in the arms of sleep, he had a dream in which he found himself in a lab. In the dream, he saw a girl, and along with that, he also saw some doctors standing around his body. Thomas suddenly woke up from that dream. Upon waking, he saw that on that morning, Minho was going inside the maze along with the Glade's leader, Albie. A while later, during work, Thomas asked Newt, "Albie is not a runner, so why did he go inside the maze?" At this, Newt told him, "Things have started changing now. Ben getting a Griever's sting during the day was not an ordinary thing." Albie went to see exactly how Ben got stung. In this way, evening arrived. Now only a little time was left before the maze door would close. But Albie and Minho had not returned yet. All the boys stood at the door, growing restless, waiting for them. Just then, Thomas said, "We should go inside the maze to find them." At this, Gally said, "That would be against the rules. No matter who comes out of the maze or doesn't, none of us will go inside. We cannot afford to lose any more people." Just then, the door of the maze began to close. At that very moment, they spotted Minho and Albie coming toward them. Albie was unconscious, and Minho was trying to carry him on his back and bring him outside. But very soon, his courage gave way. Now only a few seconds were left before the door would close. Just then, Thomas, without thinking, rushed inside the maze to help them, and with that, the door closed. When Thomas reached Albie, he saw that Albie had also become a victim of the sting. Minho told him that after getting stung, Albie had gone out of control, so he had to knock Albie unconscious. In the middle of all this, they heard the growling sound of Grievers. Hearing it, they started running away from there carrying Albie, but they could not run far carrying the unconscious Albie. So to protect Albie, they began tying him up on the wall with the help of vines. Just then, a Griever came out from behind a door and started moving toward them. Seeing it, Minho panicked and ran away from there. But before running, Thomas somehow tied the vines to the stems securely and began escaping while hiding from the Griever. He had gone just a short distance when a sticky liquid fell on his shoulder from above. When Thomas looked up, the Griever was hanging there, growling at him. The Griever was a biomechanical creature whose legs were machine-made, but its body was made of living muscle. The very next moment, the Griever attacked Thomas, but Thomas somehow tricked it and fled from there. On the way, he met Minho. At that very moment, the paths of the maze began to change. Seeing this, Minho quickly started running with Thomas toward a safe path. Ahead, the walls of the path began to join together. Minho managed to get out through that path, but Thomas stopped there and began drawing the Griever's attention toward himself. He chased it behind him and brought it between the closing walls of the maze. Thomas leaped through the wall with agility, but the Griever's large body got crushed between the walls. The next morning, when the maze door opened, the rest of the Glade's members were stunned to see all three of them coming out of the maze alive. Minho told the others how they had encountered a Griever, but Thomas had used his cleverness to kill it. Hearing this, all the boys were left speechless. Meanwhile, Gally was furious at Thomas for breaking the rules, but in the eyes of the other boys, Thomas had done something courageous, and keeping that in mind, everyone decided to make him a runner. In the middle of all this, they heard the sound of the lift arriving, hearing which they all ran toward the lift. They saw that this time, a girl had been sent among them. She was the same girl whom Thomas had seen in his dream. However, Thomas did not tell anyone this. The girl was unconscious and was holding a note in her hand. Newt read that note. On it was written, "Nothing more will be sent up from this lift." Reading that note, everyone was stunned. Just then, the girl came to consciousness for a moment. She saw Thomas, called out his name, and went unconscious again. Hearing her, all the boys stared at Thomas. However, Thomas also didn't know who the girl was and how she knew his name. A little while later, they had brought the girl inside a hut where the Medjacks were looking after her. Just then, Thomas, Newt, and Minho arrived there. They saw that the girl was still unconscious. However, at that time, time, more than the girl, they were worried about the fact that if supplies and necessary items were not sent for them from the lift again, they would not be able to survive there for many more days.